So, hi everyone. If this is working, can you hear me? Yeah, awesome, perfect. So let's start. Hi, I'm Francesco and I'm manager data engineer at Collibra. So when I wake up every morning, my first thought is data mesh and how to apply that. So today I would like to walk you through our implementation at Collibra, having Cloud Designer powered by Trifacta as a substantial enabler, and Data Intelligence Cloud's platform as a glue that keeps everything together. First, I want to walk you through what we do at Collibra and align on data mesh principles. I know that you might have already heard about data mesh, but just want to make sure we speak the same language. Once I've done that, I will walk you through our implementation at Collibra and the choices that we have to make, but mostly the rationale that we used. That will include a full picture of our current infrastructure, and I'll explain you why we drink champagne. So, what are we doing at Collibra? We're trying to solve the problem that the modern data infrastructure is not solving. Complexity grew exponentially in the past few years, and I'm not only talking about processing petabytes of streaming data. I'm also talking about other levels. Can you imagine how many personas do we have that need to access, build, consume data products? In this room, for sure, we have some data engineers, analysts, data scientists, maybe also stewards, privacy managers. All these personas have different reasons and different tools to access the data. You can think of ETL, dashboards, modeling, and not to mention the thousands of tools that are out there for data infrastructure. So, what do we do? Collibra is designed to be the single system of engagement for data across the modern enterprise. So, regardless of where the data is stored or what ETL or analytics tool you are using, Collibra can help. Collibra Data Intelligence Cloud, through catalog, governance, lineage, data quality, and privacy, is the central spot where data products creator, owner, and consumer meet. So, now let's talk about the challenges that we have to go through while implementing data mesh. So, centralized ownership has to become domain ownership. What are domains? Domains are the sphere of influence and knowledge with the relevant subject matter experts. What is the change that we have to go through? Don't have a centralized data office that has to deep dive into the data every time. Have the subject matter expert work on the data they own. Siloed data siloed data assets become data as a product. What is data as a product? Is applied product thinking to data. So we have usable, valuable, feasible data products with a long-standing vision, roadmap, and a life cycle. What is the change that we have to go through? Data needs to be natively findable and consumable. I don't need to go to the marketing analyst or data engineer and asking, what is your data product containing? This has to be centralized in a catalog and reachable through a marketplace. From a monolithic centralized infrastructure, we want to go towards a self-serve infrastructure. What is self-serve infrastructure? Self-serve infrastructure is an infrastructure where, in a frictionless manner, data producer and data consumer can interact, and they don't have external dependencies. So, what is the change that we have to go through? The infrastructure has to give command and control to the domains, while hiding complexity and enabling autonomy. From a top-down governance, we have to move into a federated governance. Federated governance produces consistent, high-quality, safe, privacy-respecting, usable data products through globally relevant policies and standards, but the accountable ones are always the domain. So what needs to change? Again, command and control is in the hands of the domains. Do we need to have all these principles at the same time at the same speed? No. We can have different principles at different speed at different domains. But what is the important part? The important part is to have them all, because they create an interplay that enables us to scale. So, now that I shared a bit about Collibra and we aligned on data mesh principles, I would like to walk you through our journey in Collibra. Our thinking on this is a crawl, walk, and run approach, because this is a long-term investment with data mesh. So We don't have to do this all at once. This is how we are crawling. The first starting point is data. We have a lot of operational tools that are creating a lot of data. Great. So, our co-founder Stan drove data mesh before creating our data office. How did he do that? He started making sure that business units were hiring analysts in the domains. Those were the subject matter experts. Is this enough? Of course not. This is domain ownership, great, beautiful, but it's not solving the whole problem. We have to have the 4 pillars at once. Which was the problem? The problem was that these business analysts were working with inconsistent data, siloed data was really hard to share, and it took really long time to create data products. So you can imagine the tooling being Google Sheets and Tableau. But now we have, like Stan started building out our team, and we knew that we had to approach this with data mesh. Starting with the data. What was our challenge? The challenge was to enable business domain to scale their analytical capabilities. We needed to set down the basis of our self-serve data infrastructure. So, how do we choose among the thousands of shiny tools that are out there claiming that they are gonna solve your data mesh problem all at once? We started looking inwards and try to understand what are the resources that we have and where do we want to go. And I want to share a little anecdote about this. Before joining Collibra, I was at this sales event and the guy was talking, saying a lot of things, but then he said one thing that struck me. He said, don't buy a tool to build your data governance. Build your data governance first and then buy a tool that supports it. And we were in the same exact position. So, now that we understood what are the basis of our operations, we looked at the ingredients that we had. What do we need? We need data in a central place where they can be managed, that we can apply governance, they can be shared, they can be accessible. This is a data lake. So we choose to go with AWS Redshift as a data lake. Perfect. Now we have a data lake, we have to put something in the lake. What do we have in our company? We have a lot of analysts that has subject matter expertise but little code experience, and honestly their time is much better spent in gathering insights from the data rather than writing and maintaining code. So what we needed was a no-code tool, set it and forget it, and we choose Fivetran for doing that. We had the need of writing some code for doing more custom use cases. We had Astronomer, is an Airflow-based tool for that. But what did we pay attention to? The possibility of giving command and control to the domains and remove as much friction as possible. So, even though us as a data office were providing infrastructure to the company, the one in control were the domains. This was a really nice first step. Now we had data into the lake and we could help analysts to connect their data products and have them findable. How? Through Collibra Data Catalog. Catalog for us is a huge component, but I will come to that later. As we know, data coming straight out of the source in the data mesh lingo is source-aligned data. In Collibra we call it raw. To gather insights from this raw data, we needed analysts to work on it. So we needed to create another step of our self-serve infrastructure. Again, the theme of our work is to build an implementation first and then to buy the tool that fits it. All our domain had analysts that, as I said, great subject matter expertise, but not good at coding, and their time is much better spent on the data and not on writing and maintaining code. We had a couple of data engineers in our office, so what we thought is, okay, let's find a tool that we can maintain, but the domain I have control over it. Alteryx Designer Cloud, powered by Trifacta, was an easy choice for us. Analysts loved the tool, and its capability to connect to different sources and write into our data lake was exactly what we were looking for. It enabled advanced data wrangling without writing any code and without having to maintain our computation runtime. So this is exactly what I meant by hiding complexity. Once we had that integrated in our infrastructure, analysts were creating data products much faster and publishing them in our Collibra catalog in a matter of days instead of weeks. Once that all the data are in the lake and catalog and findable and shareable, the analyst in the domain can build dashboard through Tableau, and through our trusted business report workflow in Collibra, they could start working on the trust of their data product. As I said before, a data product needs to be shareable, usable, but it needs to be usable, and to use it, you have to trust it. So, through federated governance, we built the standards for a product to be classified as bronze, silver, and gold. And through Collibra Trusted Business Reporting, we could remove all the friction to classify and have them findable with the right label in the catalog. So, finally, you have a full picture of the current infrastructure that we implemented. We use extraction technology that is both code and no code. We use wrangling technology that is both code and no code. But the most important part that we built is having these with the analyst in mind. We wanted to enable the domains, the subject matter expert, to create valuable data products to help the business. Collibra is the glue that keeps everything together. But you're probably wondering, can a different infrastructure do it? Is this the only option? Of course, this is not the only option. The infra follows your needs. The important part is to empower the business and removing frictions. Look into your ingredients when you start to build, and build around those. We decided to enable our analysts, the subject matter expert in the domains, to bring value to the business. This was able to shorten massively the lead time between ideation and delivery of data products. Throwing money at providers won't solve the data mesh for you. Designing your solution based on your resources and current situation and the goal you want to reach is gonna be the right first step. Then, why did I say that we drink champagne? That's a good one. So, I think you notice how many times Collibra appears in our implementation, and being in the Collibra data office, we're using our own product. Using our own product also to help in evolving it for our customer. This is exactly the drink in our champagne. Unluckily, no real champagne involved for now. So, just I want to really reinforce why these two tools are really important for our data mesh implementation. Our subject matter expert, the analysts in the domain, are empowered to build data products with a super powerful wrangling tool without worrying about code, computation engine, or anything. These products are natively findable and shareable because cataloged in Collibra Catalog. Our source-aligned data stored in Redshift are easily accessible through the marketplace and natively connected in Alteryx Designer Cloud. And the command and control is completely in the hand of the domains. The trust side of our data products is covered by trusted business reporting, workflows, and our data quality tool. The next evolution will be having Cloud Designer by Trifacta integrated into Collibra to have the full lineage end-to-end of our data products, but we're working on that. So, I walk you through what we do at Collibra and what is our reading of the data mesh principles. I showed you bit by bit how we built our infrastructure, but mostly the rationale that we use for choosing that. And then I showed you the tools themselves. Again, the most important part is not selecting the tool, but having your choices made. Look inwards, understand what are your resources, understand who you want to empower and how, and then buy the tools. Thank you for being here, and thank you to Designer Cloud for having me.